इन सब में मुझे एक कन्फेशन और चाहिए।
नाम और उम्र बताओ।
लगाए बताए
बार बार एक ही बात दोहरा रहा है। काम मुकम्मल होगा ऐसा कुछ। गुनाह का एहसास दिलाकर गुनहगार को निगल जाओ।
वो कैसे है?
At the beginning of the movie, we see a man cutting his hand with a blade and drawing a satanic symbol on the floor with his blood, and then bowing before it. We are then told that in the near future, the country has changed. Sectarian violence has reached a crisis point, secret detention centers are established, and a military clampdown is in effect. We then see an abandoned hotel that is a suspected terrorist safe house, and a military force is raiding that place. The soldiers move forward following a sign, and on going some further, they hear some sound from a room. They all get alert, and a man starts moving toward them saying everyone is dead. Captain asks him to put his hands up, but he keeps moving toward them, and the captain gets an order that they want him alive. Captain asks him to stop where he is, but he comes close to them, and they get shocked to see that satanic sign on his abdomen. Captain asks him where is 𝐸𝐶𝐀𝐄𝐒, to which he says back there. The force moves forward to that side, and they find 𝐸𝐶𝐀𝐄𝐒 in a room, but they see that the room is filled with many dead bodies. Now when the captain goes near him to check if he is dead or alive, 𝐸𝐶𝐀𝐄𝐒 wakes up and says there is something he needs to know. He then whispers something in his ear, and the scene cuts here. The movie now shifts 1 month ago, where we see Nita and her dad 𝐂𝐻𝐻. He tells her that soldiers came into their neighborhood and threw them out of their houses. Whatever they could find, they took it all away, and the reason they gave them was that this was anti-national. Nita sees that he is secretly carrying seditious literature with him and tells him that what he is doing is treason. Only then a check post comes ahead and she asks her dad to calm down, but he tells her that there are lecture notes for his students in his bag as well. An officer then comes to him and asks him to show his ID, and seeing his ID, the officer asks him to step out as they need to search his car. But when he refuses, the officer forcefully drags him out and tells him that if there is anything he is hiding from them, it will be good for him to tell them about it right now. Now seeing the situation getting worse, Nita comes out of the car and shows them her military ID card telling them that he is her father and he is dropping her back to the academy. And seeing it, the officer let them go. We then see Colonel 𝐂𝐻𝐻 giving a lecture about terrorism to the newly recruited military officers. He tells them that it is their responsibility to look out for illegal activities and report it to their seniors, even if the person in question is a family member. Now because Nita was finding her father suspicious, so she informs her seniors about this and the military force arrests him. He is then brought in for interrogation, where he asks the officer why he has been arrested. Nita is also watching this interrogation and she asks a senior officer if they will let him go soon. To which he says yes, but it takes a little time to make an intellectual understanding. She then enters the interrogation room and asks him to listen to them and do as they say. He says what she is doing is wrong and making a mistake, and then the officers take him away from there. Nita is then taken for an assignment, where she is told that her father is doing very well in his reconditioning process and that this assignment is on the orders of Colonel 𝐂𝐻𝐻 and is extremely confidential. The scene now shifts to Megdut 31, an advanced interrogation center, where they inform Colonel 𝐂𝐻𝐻 that Nita is joining duty from today and the package will arrive tonight. He tells Major 𝐂𝐻𝐻 to process Nita as a new recruit as she can help them with the interrogation. Hearing this, Major 𝐿axmi Das gets shocked and says all the information that they have about Nita and about her religion. It would be better not to play these games and extract as much information from her as soon as they can, as she thinks she is connected to all this, but Colonel 𝐂𝐻𝐻 says they will do it his way. The team then brings Nita to the interrogation center, where Major 𝐿axmi completes her joining formalities and welcomes her there. She asks her that her religion will not give any problems, as there are a lot of Muslims in the group with which they are fighting. Nita says they think they are Muslim, but Islam forbids the murder of innocent men, women, and children. These prisoners here are nothing but murderers and terrorists. Major Lamba and Major 𝐿axmi then give her a tour of the building and tells her that this facility was built soon after the first emergency, to be used as a bunker in a nuclear attack, but this place has never been used, and there is no mention of this place in government records too. Currently, there are 5 prisoners and 12 soldiers. She asks him why are there so few prisoners, to which Major 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐀𝐃 tells her that they don't have permission to keep anyone in custody for more than 3 weeks. Only then she sees 2 soldiers bringing a prisoner named Ahmed and lock him in a cell, and she asks them why isn't he kept in a cell like the rest of the prisoners, to which they tell her because he hasn't opened his mouth yet. They then take her to their main interrogation chamber, where she meets interrogation officers Mathur and Bablu. After the tour, Major 𝐀𝐋𝐿𝐼 meets her to Colonel Sunil, who tells her that 𝐸𝐶𝐸 will be here today. He is the last unit member of all their prisoners rotting here. He shows her the confession tapes of dangerous antisocials, saying this is the result of their interrogation techniques and years of hard work, and he wants to see one more confession in there. She has been posted here to get a confession out of 𝐸𝐶𝐸. Now after she leaves, Major 𝐀𝐋𝐼 says it's really foolish to trust this woman because she is a suspect, to which he says it's his final decision and now it's an order for her. Meanwhile, Major Chaudhry and Gupta get into an argument as Gupta thinks Ahmed is innocent, to which Chaudhry says no prisoner here is innocent and Ahmed is making a fool out of all of them by being mute. He explains to him not to let them mess with his head and that they are only doing their duty. Later, the alarm goes off and Rajan says they are bringing 𝐸𝐶𝐸, to which other prisoner says it's impossible because they will never be able to capture him alive. Then one of the other prisoners says it's possible, but only if he planned his own capture. Now the whole team comes to the main gate to welcome 𝐸𝐶𝐸 and they are accompanied by their dogs, but as soon as 𝐸𝐶𝐸 comes out of the van, Nita notices that the dogs are scared of him, and as he sets foot on the ground, all 3 dogs sit down in silence. They then bring him inside the facility, where Chawla asks him his name and age, but he doesn't say anything. However, he suddenly looks at Nita, after which Colonel orders them to take him to the interrogation room, and when they are taking him there, all the prisoner asks them to leave him. Now in the interrogation room, they hang him with chains, and Major 𝐀𝐿𝐼 asks Nita to go ahead. She asks him his name, and she was about to hit him. He says Nedu, which she gets shocked to hear. 𝐀𝐿𝐼 asks her to hit him, but she backs off, and 𝐀𝐿𝐼 says she knew it. Later, Colonel tells his team that command has given them only 24 hours to make 𝐸𝐶𝐸 talk, and he asks Ray to make sure that 𝐶𝐸 doesn't fall asleep and the rest of the ream can sleep for 4 hours. Now that night, we see that everyone in the facility is disturbed and having nightmares. Nita sees her father in her dream and she shoots him to blow his head, and 𝐸𝐶𝐸 is clapping standing there and his eyes are completely black. The next day, while she is at the canteen, she overhears Gupta telling Chaudhry that he also had a nightmare, and Chaudhry says he also had the same dream. Later, Gupta, Chaudhry, and Nita go to the interrogation room, where they take 𝐶𝐸 out of the box and make him sit on a chair. They then start their interrogation, but 𝐶𝐸 asks them if they can hear the voices like a baby is crying. Now the 3 present in the room can hear the cries, but the officers sitting outside in the recording room cannot hear anything. Gupta says he can't hear anything at all, and 𝐶𝐸 asks them if it was their idea. They ask him what idea, to which he says they brought them both here, beat them, tortured them, raised their weapons, and shot them. He then looks at Nita and asks her how is her father, and she sees that his eyes are completely black. Only then does the camera malfunction and the screen get stuck, and here Chaudhry and Gupta start fighting, blaming each other. They try to kill each other and Nita tries to stop them, and by the time Chawla reaches there, Chaudhry stabs Gupta with a knife and says this is all his fault. They then take him out of there, but while leaving, Chaudhry says 𝐶𝐸 is messing with their minds and asks him how he knows all this. After that, they take his dead body from there, and Colonel asks Nita to leave the room. He then takes the matter into his hands and tells 𝐶𝐸 that in his very first order, his 14-year-old son and wife Lubna, they will be brought here and tortured right here in front of him. 𝐶𝐸 then begins to chant something, but the colonel doesn't understand anything, and he asks him to speak clearly. But Nita gets suspicious and goes to the old prisoner and brings him with her to the recording room. She asks him what language is 𝐶𝐸 speaking, to which he says it's ancient Aramaic, a language from before the time of their messenger. However, he knows 𝐶𝐸 since his childhood, and he doesn't know this language. He is repeating the same thing, like, finish the task. He asks her to tell the colonel to get out of that place right now, but only then 𝐶𝐸 takes colonel's wife's and daughter's name. He gets shocked to hear this, and now 𝐶𝐸 begins speaking some of his private things in his wife's voice. Colonel gets furious hearing all this, and he prepares to electrocute him, but 𝐶𝐸 asks him if that is how he felt when he beat his wife for the first time. He angrily sets terminals to 𝐶𝐸's tongue, and switches on the power, and tells him that he has spent his whole life fighting for and serving this country. Now after some time, 𝐶𝐸 starts frothing from the mouth, and due to a short circuit, the lights of the entire facility go off. Nidu from the recording room hears the colonel saying there is no pulse and asking 𝐂𝐄𝐒 to get the crashed trolley, but after that, she hears someone crying and recognizes it as her father's voice. She goes to the interrogation room where she finds Seed lying on the floor. She tries to wake him up and asks him what he knows about her father. She then goes to shut the door, but when she turns, she gets shocked to see that he is not there. She then finds him standing in a corner facing the wall, and when she goes near him, she gets terrified to see his demonic form and falls down. She then lit a torch and hear his screams from all around the room but couldn't see him. She then sees him right in front of her asking her in her father's voice how could she send him here to rot. Only then Major 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐀𝐃 comes there with Colonel and others and Nita see that Seed is lying on the floor in front of her. Colonel also gets shocked to see Seed alive and she tells the Colonel that Seed is not a human. 𝐀𝐋𝐼 and Lamba pick up Seed and the Colonel says that he himself checked that he had no pulse. He then orders Lamba to send the message and call in 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻. Now 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 arrives at the facility and begins the interrogation. Meanwhile, Nita goes to that old prisoner and asks him what is the truth, to which he tells her that in Arabic mythology, Ghoul is mentioned, and the one locked in their cell is not a human but a Ghoul. Any seeker who makes this sign with his blood surrenders his soul and then summons the Ghoul. It shows them the reflection of their guilt and then uses their own guilt against them to destroy them. And its most powerful weapon is that the last person's flesh he eats, he then takes that person's identity. On the other hand, 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 had tortured Seed badly, and meanwhile, Colonel comes to know that Seed's dead body is found in one of his own safe houses and had been partially eaten. Unknown to all these things, 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 unchains Seed and he reveals his demonic form. Only then do Nita and the prisoners hear a screeching and snarling sound from the interrogation room and they get terrified. The door opens and 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 comes out walking, and Nita hides there and then he opens the doors of all the cells before leaving. And when she goes to check the interrogation room, she finds 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻's dead body hanging upside down and his head lying on the floor. After this, Ghoul comes in front of her and starts moving toward her, and she presses the emergency button and tries to escape from there. Ghoul now starts chasing her, but before it could reach her, her team opens the door and she comes out. She tells the Colonel that he has opened all the cell doors and released all the prisoners and was trying to kill her. She tells him that Ghoul is in 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻's body, but 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 doesn't believe her. Colonel then goes to check and finds that Nita was telling the truth, and they also get shocked to see 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻's dead body. She then goes to 𝐷𝐿𝐷's cell and tells the Colonel that the prisoner thinks that this man has summoned the Ghoul. They then hear a scream, and when they come out, 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 blames Nita for all this, saying she came down here without permission, released all the prisoners, and they together vented their anger on 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻. She is the only daughter of a traitor who has come to this place to avenge her father. Hearing all this, Colonel points his gun at Major 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻, but she also does the same. He tries to explain to them that they all know there is an imposter in their midst, and he orders his team to arrest Major 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 until they don't find out the truth. However, Major 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 along with a lady soldier Ashima warns the soldiers that whoever supports the Colonel will also be considered a traitor. Now except Lamba, all other soldiers also turn against Colonel and ask him to drop the gun. Major 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻 then orders them to throw Nita and 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐻 into the chamber right away and find the escaped prisoners. Now Nita encounters those prisoners inside the chamber who tries to attack her, but she fights them back. She says she will kill 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐻 if they come any closer, to which the old prisoner tells her that he is not a member of their group. He also reveals that Chaudhry and Gupta brought his wife and child over here to scare him, and Chaudhry killed them in front of his eyes. She then notices that it's an execution chamber, and here she understands that his father was also brought here and killed. Only then the team starts coming towards the executive room after checking the entire facility, and all the prisoners try to block the door. Meanwhile, Ray and Kapoor find a dead body of a prisoner who is impossible to identify, and when they inform 𝐿𝐷𝐶𝐻, all the prisoners also hear this and get terrified to know that one of them is Ghoul. Now they all start doubting each other, and in the meantime, Nita helps 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐻 to escape through a furnace. Rajan says he thinks he knows who the Ghoul is, and only then Ghoul, who is in the form of an old prisoner, attacks a prisoner and kills him. Here 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐻 escapes, and when he was pulling Nita out, Ghoul catches her and bites on her leg and then drags her down. But after a while she comes back out of the furnace. Now when the team enters the interrogation room, they find Nita there, who asks them not to shoot her. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻 asks her where did that mute go, to which she points them to a side and tells them that the Ghoul bit her and went after him. Meanwhile, Nita tells 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐻 that officers must be looking out for them, so they should get out of there. Here 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻 beats Nita and asks her what is her connection with 𝐸𝐷𝐻𝐻, and she doesn't want to hear anything about demons and ghosts. She asks her to come closer to her and suddenly bites her ear. She then asks her why she has been suspecting her ever since she got here, and during this, Ashima accidentally shoots Lamba and runs away from there. 𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻 tells her that when 𝐸𝐷𝐻𝐻 was captured, he just kept taking her name. On the other hand, Nida and Ahmad were hiding in Colonel's office when Ahmad speaks and says she is different from others. Only then Mathur comes there and Kapoor asks him on the radio to come over, but then he notices that someone is behind the couch and suddenly the Ghoul in form of Nida attacks him. Nida asks the Colonel if her sudden posting here was all planned, to which he says he wanted to see how 𝐸𝐶𝐸d reacts when he sees her, and that Ghoul is here only because of her father. Only then 𝐿𝐼𝐾𝐄e tries to attack Nida, but the Colonel shoots and kills her. He then reveals that when his father was here, he would repeat the same thing again and again, about making a deal by offering blood, and the man we see at the beginning of movie performing a ritual was her father only. They then set out to find Ahmed as he is innocent, and in his office, they find the rest of the soldiers. He orders them to stand down and asks them what's going on here. They tell him that they killed Ray thinking of him of Ghoul, and meanwhile, the Colonel grabs a grenade from his drawer. Bablu says Ahmad must be the Ghoul, but Nida asks him to move, saying that Ahmad is innocent and Ghoul is here for them to take revenge. She then asks Ahmad to find the tape of Shanwaz Rahim and put it in the player and forward it till the end. Ahmad does the same and they all hear her father saying that Ghoul will come and her betrayer daughter Nidu will bear witness. The Colonel in the tape then says that he is not a terrorist, but still orders Ray to take him to the execution chamber. She says she suspected this all along, and that she knows that the Ghoul is among them right here. Her father summoned him to teach her a lesson and she has learned her lesson. He came here to complete a task, so now her job is to help him with that. She then shoots the bulb, causing the room to get dark, and Ghoul then starts attacking and killing them. She then shoots a window and breaks it open, and jumps out of the room with Ahmad. And when Ghoul goes to kill the Colonel, he explodes the room with a grenade. Here Nida sees that the reinforcement team has reached there, who tells her that this whole area has been totally surrounded and asks her the status. She tells them everyone is dead, but only then the Colonel comes limping from behind, and she asks him to stay down. She tells the team that it's not the Colonel, but he says he has killed the Ghoul. He somehow managed to get behind the desk when the blast happened, but she says he is a monster and shoots and kills him. After this, during her interrogation, she tells her seniors that the entire unit was operating illegally, to which he says Colonel and his entire division were all just following the state policy and it was she who was illegal, and that the daughter of a terrorist can be nothing but a terrorist. He asks her if she wants to fight the entire state now, and then we see her in prison, cutting her hand to summon the Ghoul. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for